oh, these are great, these are great. People vote on things, make decisions, and then lo and behold, things get changed behind closed doors.
Amen.
And so if the government wants us to be involved, then they need to be listening to the people. And the way you listen to the people is you have a commission that issues a report and you release it to the public. We don't have to come to it, shouldn't have to come to a meeting to find out, oh, call here, call there. That's how I got my hard copy. Oh, well, we might be able to put it on the city website. It should have been put on the city website the minute it was released. Before it went to somebody downtown in state government to be voted on. Why is this not happening? Where's the communication breakdown in a city government that we voted for, we pay for? If they want us to be involved, then they need to be listening, and they're not. These decisions are not being made by the average guy who lives here, the average man and woman, the average couple, the average family that lives here, pays taxes here, and supports this government, who then turns around, goes behind a closed door, makes these good old boy decisions, writes snotty little blogs, and puts down what they want to say, puts a strike through it like it's the 60s.
Yes.
And quite frankly, if anybody in this room, and I don't know who they are or what they are, I don't know their faces, but if they're writing these blogs and they're putting down what they really feel and then putting a strike through it, that stuff went out with 7th grade. Get off it. This isn't junior high school. We're adults. If you have something to say, be man or woman enough to say it. Don't be playing this nasty game of calling names. We had a problem. We did it the right way, and we were called disgruntled.
Yes.
Well, I'll bet you if the mayor and the city councilors' homes were threatened by flood, they sure as heck wouldn't want to have been called disgruntled. We did it the right way. We didn't talk about anybody. We didn't say nasty things about them. We didn't call them names. I sat behind the city manager in a courtroom while he was leaning against the wall, kicking the wall. He couldn't have been more disinterested about being in court than the man in the moon. If they want us to be involved and they want to hear us, then listen. We're not here to serve them. They are here to serve the residents of this city.
Y'all get that? Did you get that?
Now, wait a minute. Let me explain something real quick. I'm not the city.
I didn't say you
No,
were.
I'm going to answer the lady. I was sent a document. I will tell you right now, there will be no vote in the General Assembly until you know what we're voting on and what we're talking about. I can't help it if the city doesn't post something on the website.
I didn't say it was you,
No, you
Frank.
didn't. You didn't. No, you did not. What I'm addressing the lady there, what she said, look at me. I'm telling you, I've never done anything in this city that people didn't get to discuss. Now, they may not like the way I vote, but
I
they
didn't
know.
say that it was
You didn't.
you.
I didn't say you did. What I'm saying.
Don't correct me on that.
I'm not correcting you on that. What I'm saying very plainly is this. We're sent a document, myself, Tom Taylor, and Mike Jacobs. We've been given a document. I agree with you 100%. The city should post it on the webpage. Nothing has happened with that thing. Nothing will happen on it. Okay? There'll be discussions on it, but nothing has happened on it. Taylor and I and Jacobs have not sat down and even looked at it at this point in time. We just got this document. So you're absolutely right. The city needs to post it. The communication stopped. You're absolutely right.
Thank you very much. And I didn't say it about you. You're a former neighbor of mine in Redfield. We voted for you. We support you. And you're an honest man. And you're an honest man. And I would never say anything like that about you. But I can't say the same for our current city government.
Amen.
Yes, sir. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do me a favor, I voted for you on professional advice from one of my neighbors, but I was hoping that you can talk a little bit tonight about your vision for what you hope to do on the council, why you ran for the office, and what your vision is long-term for Dunwoody.
Well, I think that was mostly covered during the campaign. I guess, I'm for more, basic blocking and tackling in government, less doing what I don't think is government's place. I don't think it's our place to be in the development business. I don't think it's our place to be spending a lot of money thinking we can engender redevelopment when there are so many basic infrastructure needs still unaddressed. I'm for more transparency in government, and I think we've got a great example right here of a lack of transparency. I don't think it was necessarily what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't necessarily an act of commission, it was an act of omission. But why do we have continuing acts of omission in so many areas? We need to get better at getting the information out to where the citizens can find it, the citizens can get a hold of it and know what's happening with their government. And we've got a great example here of something that affects us in a very basic way, that there's no transparency. This thing, as soon as that file document was prepared and forwarded to Fran, it should have been on the city website so that anybody can look at it. So I'm for transparency. I'm for basic blocking and tackling when, that's going to affect people, in their day-to-day lives and not, be a, small effect on a small group of, large effect on a small group of people. I'd rather have something that affects the wider community, and I think we're attacking a lot of projects that aren't necessarily going to affect the wider community.
Could you give an example of some of those projects you're talking about?
Well, I think Project Renaissance is an example. I don't think that was a good business for Dunwoody. Our city staff is spending an awful lot of time on it and will for a considerable longer period. And, we should have gotten out of that game. We should have rezoned the land for what we wanted it used for and offered it on the free market and gotten out of the development business, not gotten into the development business. Let developers develop. Yes, sir.
After being in Dunwoody since '73, I find a lot of these things very amusing that's happened to our wonderful city. I'm at Palmer, I live in Village Oaks, that's on the south end of your district. One of the things that bothers me that doesn't seem to get much publicity is the lack of oversight in terms of what our contracted out employees of the city government are doing. I'm especially concerned about the financial aspects. Yeah, you can get an auditor in, and I'm not bad-mouthing auditors, okay? I think the world of good auditors. But also know, I've looked at thousands of audit reports. I work for the Defense Department and procurement quality assurance for 38 years, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And too many times the audit reports reflect solely a summarization of what the data that they're given. Very seldom do you see what I call forensic detail accounting.
Speak up, though, please.
I'm sorry. What I want to see is somebody, a council member, whether it's you or John, it is John.
It is correct, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Fine.
I want somebody on the council to pay more attention to what's going on with the people that are hired to manage the city services. I feel very uncomfortable about it. My summation of what's going on with the present city council, and I'm not indicting everybody when I say that. I don't want to get into personalities and make them scared. Hey, we've got X millions of dollars in the budget.
Let's spend it.
As long as we've got the money to spend it, let's go spend it.
Sounds like Washington.
That's the most ridiculous approach to government that I've ever experienced. I want to stop. You know, we pay a lot of taxes in Dunwoody. We all know that. And a lot of these things, I won't go into details because it takes too much time. A lot of the things that the council has approved, rubber stamped what Mr. Hutmacher, the manager, proposes. They're way overpriced, way overpriced. Christ.
He's overpaid.
And I don't think anybody's paying attention to it. The council likes to say, hey, we're within budget. Wonderful. What if you said, the citizens said, hey, tighten the screws down a little bit, give us a tax break next year? I wonder what that would do to the city of Dunwoody. I doubt if it would hurt it at all. So I don't want to take too much time, but I've become very disgruntled, and I was a strong supporter of us becoming a new city. I really was. And I'm not bragging about it, but I can tell you I know an awful lot of people because I've lived around here a long time. And the people in the Village Oaks, and there's 4 associations out there, including the group that lives across the bridge, that are playing with the dog park issue, and I don't blame them. I would be too. That's a separate discussion. I've taken too much time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I promise to be very brief. In conjunction with what this gentleman just said, we talked about the revamping of the city website, and our city manager has recommended a company to come and revamp the website. And I don't know if it struck anybody else as odd that the recommendation was made and the question came up, well, what about references? Have you checked references? Oh, well, we'll do that before we award the contract and vote. Regardless of what your political affiliations are, for whom you voted in the last presidential election, notwithstanding any of that, that's what happened with a no-bid contract for Obamacare. No references were checked. It was a no-bid contract. The website's a mess. It's not secure. It's being revamped section by section. Total website security has not been verified. And we now have a recommendation for one company whose references have not yet been checked. I'd like to know just how this city manager does his job. Wouldn't you think the references would already have been checked, and perhaps council might have been given 2 or 3 choices before a company was selected to revamp the city website? Just thinking out loud.
Since they mentioned the dog park, if the city council doesn't act on the 7th and it carries into next year, what will be your position on the dog park?
Well, I think that's a complex question. It's a very good question. Currently there are a lot of discussions, and there are a lot of proposals on the table, and I guess it comes down to what the specifics are and, where the homeowners at Lakeview Oaks are with respect to some of the proposals that are on the table. I haven't had a chance to, talk to those folks to see what their take is on some of the proposals that are on the table, and I'd like to know that before I'm telling you, I haven't made a final decision, given that I don't know all the facts, and I need to know some more facts before coming to a decision. It's that simple. The other thing that hasn't been discussed much is that, with respect to the health of the trees, there have been some folks that have been talking to the Piedmont Park folks with the city of Atlanta, and there seem to be some maintenance fixes, where they've learned to overcome some of the soil compaction and other issues with having a lot of dogs in amongst the trees. So until I know more about those things, I don't have a final position on the dog park.
Maybe I'll use the microphone. I'm not going to urge you to go one way or the other on the dog park, but I would urge you to read all the documents that are on the Hennigan website now, the position papers and so on. And as our representative, I guess I would urge you to always ask questions and always make sure you have the answers before you vote. And I would urge you to ask environmental questions. Of particular importance to us is water, and I will say something really positive about the current city staff. Michael Smith, at our urging, and probably other urgings, and his common sense and his knowledge, has applied